good evening, everyone. You may know, as Liz reminded us, that in 2015, the world government adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals. These SDGs set a roadmap for more inclusive, peaceful, and sustainable societies by 2030. What you may not know is that the SDGs center on three revolutionary ideas. One, universality. For the first time, UN goals were set for all nations. Gender equality, quality education, transparent institution, decent job, protection of the environment are now priorities for everyone, everywhere. Second, interconnectivity. We cannot achieve any of these goals by pursuing them in isolation. To promote decent jobs, we have to advance gender equality, for instance. Clean energy is critical to health and livelihoods, and so on. Third, boldness. Incremental improvement won't take us very far on the SDGs. We have to do more than just take steps here, on there, on education, on health, on renewable energy. The agenda calls for transformation, to turn it around for people and the planet. The revolution of the SDGs has really inspired some people. Others remain skeptical because they don't believe that leaders and citizens alike would have the guts to tackle once and for all the root causes of the challenges we face today. I'm in the first category. I believe we will turn it around and that the chances are greater now than ever. I know we will realize a world where my two children can thrive the way I did. And not just my children, but every child, no matter where he or she is born. When we talk about turning around, we need to know where we're turning to. Sustainability and social justice are the essence of the SDGs. But what do they mean? They may mean different things, depending on who you are, what your experiences are, and where you've grown up. Some of us may visualize sustainability and social justice as images of a coral reef or forest where all forms of life are healthy and abundant. These are places of majesty, of mystery, the one that we treasure and we want to return to over and over throughout our lives. Their resources are equitable, shared. For others, sustainability and social justice may look like a decent job, producing clean and renewable energy, a job that provides a steady, sufficient income and respectful working condition without further damaging the planet. But for too many, these notions are still beyond imagination, and this is something we should never forget. But even with the variation in the definition, I think most of us would agree that we are not even close to sustainability or social justice, particularly after the COVID-19 pandemic. What we are experiencing is mainly our greatest fears. Air pollution, gender discrimination, gender violence, lack of education, lack of access to health, inequalities, and of course, a climate crisis never seen before. We are far from the vision of the SDGs, but we don't have to be. We can turn it around. Look at the beautiful picture by artist Ugo Gallen. Let's simply ask ourselves, can we live without clean air, or equality, or services? Do we want to? When I think about my children, this is not the world I want for them. And this is not the world I want right now for all of us, caught in a model of development that exploits finite resources in ways that guarantee they will run out, leaving billions of people without sufficient income, services, and hopes for the future. Let's talk about our current model of development. I call it the flat Earth horizon. Think of a line. You see, it starts and it ends. Some of us are above, some of us are below. The line ever moves forward, but at some point, if we don't change the course of action and turn it around, we will reach the end of the line. Some people look at the horizon as if the world was flat, just like people did centuries ago. But now, this shows a lack of imagination and more worrisome. It drives a lack of urgency that puts a brake on change. These people see sustainability as a threat to familiar assumptions about how the world works. They view it as a ship that will reach the end and the edge of the world and will sail over it. Let's now try a different approach, because now we know for sure that the earth is round. So let's think of a circle. It's a line that never ends. It does not require putting some people above and some people below. Just like the earth itself, this circle allows all of us to fit within. Natural and other resources fit within the circle too, because they are not used in a linear ways that guarantee they will run out. The vision of the Sustainable Development Goals is a circular one, because it insists on the balanced relationship between people and planet, where each sustains the other. Let me stay with the horizon analogy. Before the pandemic, even though the SDG had been agreed by world leaders and adopted by many companies, I think that many of us still thought of a progress as a line, where we start at one point and do what we need to keep moving forward. But then COVID-19 came, and the world we knew came to a screeching halt. Confined at home, struggling to maintain jobs and connection to family and friends, many of us had the time to rethink. If a virus can cause so much chaos, taking millions of lives, shutting down entire sector of the economy, decimating public services, what does that say about how resilient we are? How sustainably we are living? Remember that line? We quickly reach the end. We must reimagine a future where we don't have to go through this again, or something far worse, given the acceleration on climate change or the prospect of a world on fire. All over, we can see this self-reflection unfolding and leading in a common direction. That's why I'm optimistic. I believe a critical mass of people now understand that we have to turn it around for people and planet before we reach the end of the line for good. We have to turn the line into a circle, using the SDG as a vision and a guide to sustain our world and ourselves. COVID-19, in fact, has brought to life the three revolutionary ideas of the SDGs: universality, interconnectivity, and boldness. These notions have brought back public and private leaders back to the drawing board to reinvent approaches to job, energy, healthcare, education, mobility. A revolution is underway to accelerate the shift to green economy and industry. We are reevaluating how economies are structured and measured and who exactly they are intended to serve. Over the last year, we have seen an outpouring of calls for racial justice, gender justice, climate justice, democracy, and peace, with a powerful generation of young activists at the forefront. And many of us have embedded new, seemingly small changes in our life, knowing that others are doing the same and it all adds up. We choose to use clean, renewable energy, to make purchases in line with socially responsible business practices, and to reuse and recycle everything we can. The circle again. Make no mistake, this is just the starting point, but the willingness to turn it around means that we're headed in a new direction. Let us make it one that we, the people of this planet right now, can be proud of to call our own, because it is sustainable and socially just. A line transformed into a circle that embraces us all. As I said at the beginning, I believe we can do this, and the time to do it is now. Thank you.